Greetings, friends. We're just going to do a quick follow-up on our earlier live stream. Oddly enough, this is really not what this channel is all about or was intended to be, while crowdsourcing may be one of the topics that we were going to explore as we're building our infrastructure in the back end. We were just prepping our social media accounts for our future project. We haven't really made an announcement yet, but we have a classic example of how not to crowdsource the news, or crowdsource the truth, if you will, in this case. So what we're going to do is, these are just some windows that were left open previously, and what we're going to do is do a couple of quick page refreshes after just getting an announcement back from the U.S. Coast Guard via Twitter, just so that we can log the number of views or viewers. Looks like I have to adjust something a little bit there to get that into the bottom of the screen. I was trying to get the URL and everything in there, but it looks like I might have a little trouble with my setup here, but it's an ad hoc thing at the moment. So this was the first video we did earlier. The first stream we did earlier was we discussed the clear and present danger live stream. This was a follow-up later on in the evening that, as of the time that I watched it here, was 4,231 views. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick refresh on that to get it synced to current time, and we'll listen to it.
Okay, so what
we're recording this at 4:49 a.m. Eastern time, just for the record.
Well, I just got off the phone with the Coast Guard in South Carolina, and they were obviously very, hesitant to call out all the dogs and call out all the radiation meters and all that without knowing who our source is. Right. And I just said, look, I mean, these sources exist within the Midwest, within a 5-hour driving area of West Virginia, but I can't be more specific than that. The sources are fear reprisal from Andy McCabe and company. From what they've seen, these are American patriots. These are American patriots who spent decades, even before DHS was formed, in service to our country, saving our country from terrorist attacks. Right. So this one person who was brave enough to come forward is a representative of 5 other people who are afraid of reprisals, okay? And those individuals are the ones who said the mayor's Memphis is the vote. And that is where one of the modalities would be dirty bomb. And that's where it would happen, in one of the UAE managed ports. I have reason to believe that Charleston is a UAE managed port.
How can we confirm that?
Well, there's 43 ports in the UAE agreement. Again, remember the UAE company that agreed, and I have an officer of the state of Ohio right now confirming that the UAE does indeed manage the Port of South Carolina, or Port of Charleston. So as we're waiting for that information to come back, these folks are tired of the Mueller, Comey, McCabe reprisals against people who are trying to do the right thing.
And I'm glad you mentioned them, because, while I was waiting for you to call back, I received a call from another one of our sources who now is confirming the true pundit report that both Comey and both Comey and McCabe, according to the source, will be getting blanket immunity. And also, every one of the co-conspirators will be getting immunity. And I don't think people can fully grasp just yet how shocking that is.
Well, that's 19 co-conspirators, right, from the redacted document, and that's 3 FBI. And the 3 FBI would be Comey, McCabe, and potentially one other that which would be Sid Blumenthal. So that's how you get to 22.
Right. And this would be, sort of like back to the beginning of time. So any involvement in Iran-Contra, any involvement in, Enron, any of these types of things, there was the FBI investment, I'm not saying that Comey or McCabe were involved in that, but the implications of this, beginning of time, blanket immunity are staggering relative to the scope of the crimes involved and what that means for justice in the United States.
Well, I'm sorry there, but I already turn up the music here in Zanesville. So I just said, look, you guys, and I was on a big conference call, 35 people, all around the phone, DHS, Coast Guard, Customs and Border Patrol, every agency imaginable, sitting around. You're going to find CSIS is going to be involved with Canadian intelligence. They're all sitting there asking me questions, and I'm saying, look, I'm representing 6 patriots. If you want to take me down, fine. But I'm telling you, 6 patriots say an attack is imminent. Yeah. Now, if it was 1, that might be one thing. If it was 2, well, I give it a little bit more credibility. When it's a cadre of 6 people that have served together decades, and have saved 2,000 people in different terrorist events, where it saved the president in a 2004 assassination attempt. These are people with credentials. I'm not sitting here quoting, some conspiracy site, and I did not say call the Coast Guard. One of the listeners made that determination that there was an imminent threat, clear and present danger, and they made that call. So I didn't say go, but I did remind the folks that were on the call, this large group of people,
is absurd.
This is exactly why we paid all those taxes. Because of 9/11. We did not want another 9/11 to occur. And that's why we paid the DHS, and that's why we formed the DHS.
So it's not concerning that Mueller is involved here, and has so much power as a special counsel. The president can't override. What can be done about this case?
Well, there's two avenues. One is going to be a judicial avenue, which will take a long time, and Trump will be long gone. And the other one is obviously a legislative avenue, which is triggering, I'm not sure if it's a War Powers Act, but I believe, or posse comitatus, I don't know. There's some act of Congress, War Powers or posse comitatus, I don't know what. But if there's a clear and present danger to the United States of America, a member of Congress can convene a meeting of the Joint Chiefs to do an intelligence assessment. And that would go around McMaster as a gatekeeper, as being the National Security Advisor. That would go directly to the President. He would convene the Joint Chiefs and do an honest appraisal of the intelligence situation, not through a keyhole, but through an open process, which our democracy is famous for.
Right. And the other thing that people have been saying to me is RICO. Like, if they can prove, that was the big thing, if they could prove that this was a conspiracy, which, like, how is it not?
Right. RICO shows intent, so you have to show intent in RICO.
Right.
And you have to show that, say, hey, James, hey, Scrunchy, wouldn't it be great if I got immunity? Yeah, it'd be really great, because then I could take down Trump. Well, apparently, that actual traffic was intercepted, again, by Russian FCR. Now, that's very specious, but if there is a smoking gun that says, hey, Scrunchy, can I get immunity too, that's not going to look good for the conspirators.
Right, and Little Nicky sent me some, I think this was released, forget the news outlet or the website or whatever it was, but it was some intercepted conversation that's being, dubbed the deep state conversation or whatever, that is a lot of communications about how they're going to make this, Turkey memo against Flynn and everything, and they're going to get Flynn back into the news. When Michael Flynn got pushed out, what was it, January or February, that was a very, very bad strategic move in terms of the Trump administration. And it's interesting to me how pivotal Mike Pence was in that. All he had to do was come on the news and publicly say, Flynn told me XYZ, and he put Flynn in a position of either calling the Vice President of the United States a liar, or, I mean, he had to go out. It was a political chess move to push Flynn out.
Yeah, I think a whole bunch of stuff's going to come to light. I think Trump may end up being smarter than we thought. But I can't say anything more about that at this point. I have to wait for confirmation of that. But
I get the impression that Donald Trump is a very good poker player. He's shrewd.
well, if what I'm hearing is true, he is relying on foreign intelligence sources to cross-reference everything he's getting from the FBI and the CIA. But that's all I can say about that right now. But
listen, let's I mean, getting so much information coming in terms of import genius and bills of lading for the mayor's Memphis, and when do you think you're going to hear more from DHS or the Coast Guard with regard to this?
I think I'll hear tonight. I think I'll hear in the middle. They said if they do find some uranium on the sweep, they will call me. And if we find uranium on the sweep, we are totally vindicated.
Yeah.
We are totally vindicated. If there is uranium in the sweep anywhere on the boat, anywhere on the ship.
Even if there isn't, when you get intelligence, I mean, the source that you're talking about, you're like, who's the source? Who's the source? We can't tell people who the source is, obviously. I mean, I don't know, but you can't tell people, and certainly we're not saying, like, government officials. It's someone that you have met with personally, correct?
Yes, for 3.5 hours.
All right,
today.
so I mean, and this is not the first time you've dealt with it, because I know you've told me things from this person before, and I've seen them come to pass. So let's see what happens by tomorrow. Let's get ready for a broadcast tomorrow. I'm reporting the call.
Look for a big story also on the rodents. I don't know if people remember me covering the rodents. And look for a big story on Clinton County. So Pike County and Clinton County stories are coming for those Ohio folks that I put on hold. Okay. Talk to you soon.
I'll post this phone call up, and we'll get back onto a thing for tomorrow morning. All right?
Hey, Jason.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. What was that?
Northport. The Northport UAE, what's the name of the company? The UAE company that has the contract? They manage the Northport. I think Charleston Harbor has two entrances, the north and the south. And I believe the Northport is more the military. I do know that the Memphis Maersk is under U.S. Merchant Marine flag, so that meaning it gets the full protection of the U.S. Navy. So an attack upon the Maersk Memphis is an attack upon the U.S. Navy. But that is all I know at this point.
Okay, very good. All right, George, I'll speak to you in the morning. Or give me a call if anything, important happens, all right?
Will do. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, New York, I should say. Thank you, New York.
Take care, George. Take care, George.
Now that was a rather jovial conversation. If we notice here we have 7,538 views on this particular video. 321 comments, and so far there hasn't been an update. This says the Maersk Memphis update. There should be a second update. Maybe there's one in their channel. Let's look at the newest comment first real quick and see what happens. Yep. It looks like things at least the comments are catching up. It is rather early. It's only 5 a.m. in the morning Eastern time here. So let us look at Jason's channel, see if there's an update there. Apologize, I didn't do this yet. So that was 5 hours ago they posted that video according to this. Let's go over to George, see what he may have done. Looks like nope, no update since way before all of this happened, which should have been after that phone call and after the revelations and after it had spread across the news somehow. So we'll go to the clear and present danger, and what we're going to do is we're going to just open up a new tab here so that we can compare.
George is?
He is texting me.
Just for number's sake. This was the live stream that we caught earlier. The live chat. And in case you didn't notice, or I didn't do it live, So what I'll do is let us grab the file. This is what we had here. This is what we posted, typed in earlier after our live stream. So we have, this is yet another example of how not to crowdsource. Pay attention to the bombastic proclamations and follow the pattern of comments. Those comments obviously are there. So then I put a link to the channel, a link to this particular video, and then posted a little, see how easy it is to save the chat logs? You click on the chat logs. Here, let's move this over here. Sorry about that. Click, simple click, Control A, Control C. I know you Apple users have a different, what you use, a command, I believe, as we see here. Control A, Control C, and then Control P. And what ends up happening is you copy the whole chat. And this is just a simple text file. And as we have at the bottom, it's as easy as that. And we asked, please be careful out there. Now, we're going to look at the second clip. We had 22,400 views 10 hours ago. So 10 hours ago there were 22,400 views. Let's look at the current and see if there's an update. And we noticed there were no updates. 23,800 views in less than a half a day. 618 likes, 92 dislikes, 244 comments. Now, these are all from 7 hours ago. So the comments are all about the stream itself, because oddly enough, they had mentioned DDoS attacks in Texas, and people in Texas were having a hard time. And, typical YouTube junk, while they do have, decent, better than probably everybody else, at times it's whack. So what we're going to do is we're just going to scroll here real quick, just to see how far this has spread. The news from the Coast Guard has spread back into their community. It looks like Pro Bono has noticed it, along with 3 others possibly. And it seems like as of 2 hours ago, well, at least there is a skeptical person here, we're really not going to have anything going on. And if you look all the way down, go feel free to look at this stuff yourself on this debauchery of our minds. So, referencing back, if you notice, 12:57 a.m., the original reporting source of the threat in the Port Charleston has been detained by authorities for further questioning. Now, we opened this a little while ago, so let's do a page refresh. It was about an hour ago. So 14. What the heck do they even call that? Replies. 12 retweets and 12 likes. So let's do a quick little update. Here goes their breaking news and the update that there's a safety zone. And you see they're kind of spaced. A couple hours later, they're updating it. The threat is active and ongoing by Unified Command. Now, you know how many individuals and groups need to be activated when it comes to a Unified Command? That I would have to guess it's probably cost, maybe this is hyperbolic, but it probably seems like this event has probably cost the U.S. government easy $1 million. Not to mention the port losses, because as we see, we have a 5-hour window here since it got investigated by the Coast Guard, or reported that they were investigating it. So I'm sure Maersk is going to have some heavy losses along with the port once again, and the workers that may or may not have been affected to pay. The update an hour ago was there were 4 containers where the threat was posed at a terminal in Charleston. They've been scanned and cleared. Another update a little while later, Unified Command determined no existing threat to the port. Terminal reopened and safety zone has been lifted. The agencies who responded included the U.S. Coast Guard, FBI, SC, DNR, which I believe would be in South Carolina, Mount Pleasant Police, Mount Pleasant Fire, Charleston County, Charleston Port Authority. Responding agencies continued: National Guard, CST Unit 43, SLED, and GCIS. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 agencies responded to this. Now, first responders have a job to do, and in many cases, or well, not many cases, many times, they could potentially get injured in the performance of their duties. Now, it's bad enough when that happens and they're performing real duties to real threats, or incidents or emergencies, but if they do it based on a hoax, that's a problem, and that's very costly. And then an hour ago, as we see, the original reporting source of the threat of Port Charleston has been detained by authorities for further questioning. Now, if you remember what George said in that video that we played earlier, he didn't tell anybody to call. Even though if you spend a couple hours or however long that first stupid one was, you will realize, or I'm sure you will come to the conclusion that they were encouraging anybody and everybody. Just look at the chat. I got a copy and paste of it myself. I'm sure others do. But, if I were you, if you're going to go on their live stream and you're going to participate and your name is going to be in there, you better take a log of everything where you put your name if you're going to attach it to these people. This is not the correct way to crowdsource anything. Take a little stroll down the tweet and see what happens. It looks like Defango was the first replier. He shared their video, so you can look at it right there. If you're on Twitter, just go right over to that tweet. Look at Defango. And we'll go all the way down. And then here you go. Here's our update. Oh, Defango is on the case again, apparently. Others were watching but not willing to share, at least on the Coast Guard channel, which I guess could be understandable for those that really don't like tagging their name or profile to things. And it does not look like they're getting very much support here. And oh, there we go. Hey, there's the web shot. This is not a joke, friends. This is not a joke. These, whether or not this is on purpose or not, I don't know, but Jason Goodman, Trish Negron, aka Trish's Dishes or Trish Dishes or whatever the heck she calls herself, or whatever nickname George gave her, and George Webb seem to have blown it. They have either been duped by the best or they're part of the dupers. Be careful, friends. And until next time, I hope you have a good day. And to the Twitter, the Twitter user who replied to us, Jennifer Hoffman, I hope you really didn't get too spooked, Jennifer. And I hope you didn't take any offense to my replies. But sometimes it's better to wait until some facts come out before we get too fearful, because fear is not a good way to deal with life. So long for now. Peace and love, friends. Till next time.